Did you know 50 years ago, Mrs. Puff was killing over 100 Japanese people a year? Well, to keep it a bean, it wasn't our beloved boarding school teacher, mainly because she wasn't eating yet. Now, I know what you're probably not asking. Cache, what is a pufferfish? I'm gonna tell you anyway. Firstly, there's over 100 different species of pufferfish, all connected by, you guessed it, them puffing up. They literally turn into a water balloon. You know the ones in the summertime? Yeah, that one. Using their mouth as a pump, they inhale spurts of water up to 15 times until they're completely inflated. They're able to do this because their stomach has dozens of folds, kind of like an accordion. This right here is the reason why they can expand 3 times their size without rupturing their internal organs. But because of this expansion jutsu, they're no longer able to digest food through their stomach. They have to use their internal organs. Now I know what you're thinking. How does this all tie into Japan? I'm gonna tell you. Pufferfish has a neurotoxin called tetrodotoxin, and it's in over 28% of pufferfish, embedded in all the internal organs, including the eyes and the skin. I don't think I realized how poisonous this really is, so I'm gonna break it down to you. You know how people say a little bit goes a long way? Tetrodotoxin took this to heart. So cyanide is already really scary, killing about 5 to 10 people with just 1 gram of it. Depending on the people's size and how it's taken, of course. It works really fast and blocks your cells from receiving oxygen, basically suffocating your body from the inside. But when you deal with tetrodotoxin, you're dealing with a whole different type of vibe. Like, the best way I can describe it is Tasiki from Baddies. Y'all see how Tasiki is like cool, calm, and quiet, but like she's ready to rumble at any given time? That's tetrodotoxin. She don't need to do too much talking. She could just sit there. She could just get up, and y'all already know it's clips, it's lit. Just a milligram, a dust particle, is enough to kill 5 people. That's 1,000th of a paperclip. Meanwhile, cyanide is kind of like Rolly, doing a lot of yelling and hollering before she actually gets down to the action. So to reiterate, tetrodotoxin is about 1,000 times more toxic than cyanide. Also, female pufferfish are even more toxic than the males because their ovaries have a concentrated amount of tetrodotoxin. I fucked that up, didn't I? Here's some things that can happen after you accidentally ingest this toxin. First, you will feel tingling and numbness, kind of like you kissed a power outlet. Difficulty breathing, like having your toddler who's not a toddler, who's an 8-year-old, just sit on your chest like he's a baby. Muscle paralysis. Your body starts shutting down on you. Like, we are done. We're going to sleep. Speech and movement are gone. You can't speak. You can't move. It feels like a sleep paralysis demon is lurking behind you without the sleep. Your heart rate quickly drops. And if you don't get to a ventilator in a hospital very quickly, it's lights out for you. And the worst part about all this is you're awake during this entire thing and you can't do a thing about it. It's a terrible way to go. Did I also mention that Mrs. Puff can give out 30 tombstones at any given time? Sis is really China taking out full-grown men. This makes pufferfish the 2nd most poisonous vertebrate in the world, just behind the golden dart frog, which we'll talk about in a different video. Also, this is a pufferfish skeleton. I just needed you to see the cursed image too. Now let's fly back to Japan. Basically, 50 years ago, pufferfish was a very expensive way to die, if you were dealing with an amateur, which was a lot of people back then. The delicacy is called fugu, and wild pufferfish or tiger pufferfish is as bougie and as toxic as you can get. Kind of like that ex-best friend of yours that you cut off. It's a very expensive fish, costing around €100 or $108 USD for just one fish. And not only do you need a license to sell and buy them, but you also need a license to cook them. The reason? The internal organs and the skin needs to be properly removed with a special technique, or you will be getting that prismo sleep without asking for it. It takes a seasoned licensed chef about 10 minutes to skin and gut a pufferfish. So if you don't see this certificate on their wall, do not eat there. The mukbang is not worth it. Once everything is removed, it is then thinly sliced into sashimi. Now, I know some of you big bags out there are thinking, how does it taste? Well, sorry to just disappoint you. It's very bland. And to me, to go through all this and not even having a sprinkle of salt on top of it when it's delivered to my table is kind of crazy. But to each their own. Some people did say that back in the day, some of the toxin would still be in the meat, giving them a drunken type of saucy feeling. But now that can't even happen because there are so many new laws in place. And if you even mess with that, you're losing your license. But we love these new laws because now less than 3 people die a year from eating fugu, which is a dramatic change from the 100+ people who died each year eating fugu 50 years ago. This meal is usually for celebration, with each plate costing around $100 USD. Now, my question to you is, would you try pufferfish?